So anyways, I answered some of these here. So let us look at one. So for number one, so this is on the year social studies part paper 1 2024. Um, anyways, let's look at this one here now. More husbands are now performing household chores because they are corresponding to the changing roles of family members. This is because of marginalization, which is the decentralization of a man from a one central position, meaning that because of societal expectation, because of women movements and women activism, etc., etc., that have really drastically affected the position of movement from a one central position to a decentralized position. So Maxine Lewis lives with her unmarried mother and father. The union between her parents can be best described as common law. We describe that in the Caribbean as living home, and it's usually not really advised in the Caribbean. People when people hear that you live in home, people will be like, "She how she there like this" or something like that. I don't know. You probably guys could type in the comments what it does say when people find out you're living home or you're or unmarried but you're living with a beautiful woman. At least from what I think. Anyways, guys, so we're at question three now. We're moving. So, Susan is 26 years old. She is married, has two children, and a well-paid job. Her husband died in a motor vehicle accident. Soon after his death, Susan and her children went to live with her parents, her brother, and his family. So she was once a nuclear family that just moved from a sibling to a sibling family or a sibling household because and that she died or that so it's a sibling household, so single parent to sit. No, that wouldn't make any sense. So yes, so that would move to that type of family. Which are the following factors? And let me just highlight something. I don't like how CSEC, if you look at the information in question three, if you look at it very close, they said nuclear to sibling household. I believe this is an error. I believe this is an error because the correct wording for this would be a single household. It would not be a sibling household. But all of these answers here are incorrect. A, B, C, and D. But I don't really like how they put sibling instead of single parent. So for four, we answer four. Which of the following factors would least likely have the least influence on Susan's decision to live with her relatives? And as we said here, she has a well-paid job. So the answer for this is insufficient income because we know that she makes a lot of money. So that's what I want to say for this here. Um, it was actually his grandfather. That person, I really give a big shout out to you. You are correct in that regards. You are correct. I won't neglect that fact. You are correct in that regards. So yes, we moving at a good pace. Which of the following are agents of the socialization process? Peer groups. Banks that just to collect money, employees working in government agencies, financial institutions. That's nothing to in relation to the socialization process. So all those factors are eliminated immediately. So some adolescents challenge the views and attitudes of adults. Such a situation is brought about by. So let us think. That's actually in relation to that. That's a generational conflict. There's a gap between two generations. I would like to say there's a gap between two generations. One generation usually has a patriarchal mindset indicates that they might think that male should be dominant. However, due to socialization, due to internet and stuff like that, the society of today might think that patriarchalism might be something that is unsantical. They might believe that both male and female have equal rights, and in a sense, yes, they do. But the generation before them did not were not brought up in such a society built on communism and patriarchalism, basically to say in a generalized sense. So yes, the answer in this would be the generational conflict. So since we have that out the way, let's move on to nine now. So, research suggests that young people are influenced to use illegal drugs mainly because of peer pressure. Your friends tell you to do this because you will look cool, you'll feel big, all the stress are gone, and or all of your issues will go on, and you just listen to them. But the best answer for this is peer pressure because even if you're frustrated, you won't really take it out and you won't really have an idea, or because even though you might have a reason to do it, you might not feel pressure to do it. However, when a friend does tell you that you have to do this and they push you to do it, you'll feel more inclinated to actually engage in drug usage or peer pressure. So we're 10. Which of the following are items of expenditure for a government? The answer for this is pension, because the actual government is using those pensions for elderly people to actually financially aid them. So that's expended by the government in order to aid their financial deficits. So yes, that's it for 11. Now we're at that's 10, 11. Item 11 refers to the following scenario. The citizens of Gordon Village are not satisfied with plans to locate a cemetery on land adjacent to the main river in their community. They form a group to make representation to the parish council. The group of citizens form may be best described as, that would be the interest group, because they share generally interests in actually representing the parish council. So why is it not why is it not a peer group? Because a peer group is usually persons of similar age. They did not specify the person age, you just said citizens, and citizens age could vary. um Formal, is it formal? They're not really inclinated to, like, because for a formal group to be a formal group, it needs to have laws, it needs to have sanctions, it needs to have a regulation, a dress code, and all of those things. That is not the case in question 11. A primary group, that's like your family, that's like those groups like that. So when you think about it, the only answer that leaves us is with the interest group. So now we are at 12 now. Which of the following is most likely to undermine the authority of parents in a home? Inconsistency in rewarding and punishing children. Yes, that's the answer. If there is no certain, nope. Giving cash allowances, nope, nope. The only answer that leaves us with is inconsistency in rewarding and punishing children. Because if you're not rewarding children for what they're doing, their efforts and their abilities, they will feel left out. They will feel like like what they're doing is basically useless, and as a result of that, they won't feel a need to do it, and they won't feel a need to listen to their parents, because what's the point in actually doing it? So the best answer for 12 is B. Now we're at 14. True following is a characteristic of a strong leader. Always keeps a serious face, tends to be lenient with members. That's a laissez-faire leader, allows members to make their own decisions. All of these are very bad. So the only answer in this is willing to make decisions. A leader should be able to make strategic, to make incentivized goals that will actually contribute to the overall success of what they're operating in, or what is the operations of the business to see. So yes, that's it for 13. The type of care associated with the elderly is referred to as, that would be geriatric. Old folks, pediatrics, senescence. Senescence is just a term to actually refer to old people. So, or refer to old people between the ages of 60 to 65 and above. So, geriatric refers to the care associated with elderly people. So, if you learn a new word, type in the comments below. Which of the following characteristics must a group possess for it to be considered a formal group? Welcome to membership requirements. The answer would be all. All of these fulfills the basic requirements of what a group is supposed to basically follow. So yes, the answer is I, and I. To see again, you could look in the description below. You could join the Zoom class right now. So if you look in the description below, just press the link. If you have your Zoom, if you have downloaded Zoom, you could just press the link, the description in the description below, and you could join the class right now. So we're at 15 right now. We have work. This is, as I said before, this is the May June. This is May June for 2025. So we're at 16 right now. Hopefully everyone is doing all right. Hopefully everyone is doing all right. So let's move on to 16. Samuel broke one of the school rules and the teacher gave him 250 lines to write. Action of teacher is an example of sanction. Ritual norm, no, all of these are out. The only answer that leaves us with is sanction, because she is punishing him for doing something wrong, and that's what most formal groups have. They have a system of rewards and a system of punishment. So, in regards to this here, the best answer is D. So, 17, which of the following best characterizes a primary group? um, a large number, infrequent interaction, a common name or title, face-to-face interaction. As I said before, an example, the best example of a primary group that I could give is a family. You wake up, you see them every day. Um, you wake up, you see them every day. Is a family. So a family is the best example of a primary group. It's a group that we have, the first ever group that we have in our lives. That's the family. So that's it for 17. Now let's move on to 18. Which of the following are not included in the written constitution of a country? Um, Responsibility of citizens, foreign factor and function of officers of state, powers and responsibilities of parliament. All of these are written into the constitution except methods of taxation. That's just something that the government created on their own, because they have progressive, they have regressive tax systems and stuff like that. But that is not within the constitution. That decided by the type of government. They can change the tax system. Legislation or the written constitution is something that will remain there forever. You cannot change the constitution of a country. But since you can change the type of tax system, or the government has the ability to do that, it is not written in the constitution of a country. So adolescents are most likely to influence each other in a positive way when they, so where at we now? Force each other to accept the same values. Nope, that is out. This one is out immediately. Become involved in guidance and counseling activities. Nope. Even though it is partially right, it isn't fulfillingly right. Wait, let's just read it out, because this one here sounds very promising. It become involved in guidance and counseling activities. Yes, that sounds positive. Encourage each other to display to always challenge adults' views. Nope. Advise each other on how to carry on antisocial activities. Antisocial means that you're anti-social. Antisocial meaning that you're against societal expectation, and activities meaning that you just stay out of activities in general. That is not positive. The only answer is B, remaining. Which of the following would not usually be associated with educational institutions? So we at 20 now. Suppression of freedom, transmission of culture, customs and traditions, rules and regulations are all things that are usually passed within educational institutions. So we are 21 now. Which of the following is not a role of trade unions? Report negligent workers to managers. So yes, that's it for that. So we're at 22 now. And when I'm at question 30, I will take a short break and I will return. I'm taking a short break because I have made a lot of videos within this weekend. To be honest, guys, I'm extremely tired. Not just tired, extremely tired. Items 22 and 23 forward to the following dialogue. Sito. When Marvin was group leader, he was always ordering us about. Paul, I prefer a group leader who allows members to do as they please. So the leadership style of Marvin, as described in the dialogue above, is what? Autocratic. Because when Marvin was in group, he was always ordering us about. So that's an autocratic leader. Small statements indicate that he prefers a laissez-faire, or like I would like to call it, a lazy leader. And a lazy leader is what it exactly sounds like. A lazy leader, I personally call a laissez-faire. So I personally just like to just say that a laissez-faire is a lazy leader, because they don't really do much. They don't even want to make decisions. They don't listen to anybody, and they just let people for do their own merry, or their own things. They just left them up to their own devices. They won't do anything. So the political party which forms the government in the forest past post system is a party that wins the most seats. So yes, that's it for 24. So yes, that's 24, 25. A national budget has a deficit when expenditure is equal to revenue, less than revenue, greater than revenue. A deficit meaning that you're exporting more than you're importing. So that's what a national budget is in this case. A deficit when you're spending more than you actually have. So that creates a deficit in the overall economy. So 26. Which of the following matters is not normally dealt with by family courts in the Caribbean? Probation of wills, child custody, divorce, payment of alimony. All of these things are within the family court except probation of wills. That's when you die, and that's totally unrelated to a family. In CARICOM countries, citizens have the right to vote. This right is called the universal adult suffrage. So that's what that means. So the universal adult suffrage is the is the right of persons of 18 and above the legal incentives to vote for a party of their choice. So if you're 18 and above, you have the legal incentive or the legal right to vote for a party of your choice. That's what that means. So we are at 28 now. We're already halfway of the entire document. A political campaign is a method used by parties to give voice to people, encourage people to vote, give donation to the needy, give funding from the public, encourage people to vote. So 28. Lower house, upper house, government, C. So that's it for it. So we cannot start with upper house because upper house is higher than lower house. We cannot start with government president because that's the highest level of authority. We have to start with the lower house, then we move on to upper house. We cannot start with the lower house and then move immediately to the president or the governor general because the upper house is less than the government or governor general. So in relation to that, the only answer that leaves us with is lower house, upper house, government general dash president. So we're at 30. In which of the following countries is proportional representation practice? Guyana. All of these, um, all of these countries here, Barbados, Dominica, and St. Lucia, utilize forest pass opposed system. So I'm coming back. I'm just gonna take a short break, guys. So, anyways, we're back. We're back. So, if I take out my calculator, it is loaded here now. It's loaded. Hopefully, you guys could see on the screen. So, if you look at the population 100, so we have seven. We have seven plus the eight, or plus eight. Sure, I'm doing that right. Seven. If you look at it, this would be seven. That would be 8, that would be 5, and that would be 2.5. So 8 would be 800 plus the 700. Let me just put that on the screen. All right, 8 plus 7, that would make up 1500. So yes, that make up the 1500. That's the answer they have here. So 8 plus 7 plus the 5, that would put us at roughly around 20, and the addition of the 2.5. So the correct answer is C. If you look at the answer, because the 8 plus the 7 plus the 500 plus the 2.500, that will give us roughly 2,250. So yes, where are we now? Toward 5. So it says there, items toward the 5 reports the following table, which shows the population figures of 4 countries. Country 1, country 2, country 3, and country IV. So we have area 100, 750, 300, 2,500. So population, it says here which country has the lowest population density, and that would be this one here. This is basically trying to say for every 2,500 square kilometers, there's only 1,000 1,500 people. Because if you look at it here, 300, and there's a distribution of 1,000 persons. But if you look here, there's the population density is extremely low. So if you do basic maths, that would basically be for every square kilometer, um minus, no, not minus, divide the 1,500. That would give us roughly, for every square mile, that would be like one person, or 1.6 to be exact. So the lowest population density right off the bat is IV, because if you look at the information here, it's not good. If you look at population III, and we actually look at the distribution levels, so we could actually calculate that. That's 1,000 divided by the 300. Um, and the answer for this is toward 3. That's for every square mile, there's toward 3 persons, and that's far better than this here. So, yes. The term labor force is best defined as all persons who are under the age of retirement, qualified to work, and are currently employed. No, that does not fully satisfy that. Qualified to work and are currently seeking employment. Employed, unemployed, qualified, and willing and able to work. Yes, that's toward the 6. That would be makeup for D. So we're moving on to toward the 7 now. Which of the following best explains why birth rates have been falling in some Caribbean countries? The only answer for this one is that larger numbers of persons are migrating from some countries. Wait. Just check back this one. Let me read out all. Let's read out all the answer. Let's look at the best alternative. Fewer babies are dying in the first year of life. Family planning is now encouraged in several. Yes, family planning. Because family planning allows budgeting, it allows for proper parenting, and with proper parenting, there will be a decrease or a reduction in children under the ages of probably 10, or even younger dying. So that would be B. Which of the following best describes a census? So we're toward it, and just to be honest, just to say the chat, the Zoom class is off. I cannot put the link in, so Zoom class is off for the moment. So yes, we are back with that. We're at 48. Which of the following best describe the census, the collection of information about births and death in a country, information the amount of money spent on goods and services in a country, the registration of persons in preparation for general elections, the count of population of a country and recording its characteristics. The answer would be D. That fulfills the definition of a census. Which of the following contribute directly to the fall in infant mortality rate? Vaccination against diseases, um, improve nutrition. So that'd be I and I. So that would be A. That would be A. So hopefully you guys understand that. That would be A. We're going at a good pace. Which of the following is most likely to result from rising levels of unemployment in a country? Which of the following is most likely to result from rising levels of unemployment in a country? The answer for this is the increase in desire to immigrate. So they said, what is the which of the following is most likely to result from rising levels of unemployment in a country? So with if there's high unemployment, people will most likely want to move away from the country, and they won't want to stay in the country because of the issue of not finding good jobs and not even having good financing. So that's it for 40. So for the one, healthy individuals are beneficial to a country's development because they are more likely to be productive and efficient workers in society. That would make up with D. I don't need to elaborate a lot on that. I believe that's very much self-explanatory. So for the two, which of the following situation is likely to result from an increase in the immigration rate in a country? Overpopulation. If there's an immigration rate in a country, meaning people come into your country, that will increase the population, which could lead to overpopulation. An example of intra-regional migration is a movement of people from let us look at this now, the St. Lucia to Grenada. St. Lucia to Grenada. It's still within the sphere of the economy, so that's intra. Intra meaning that you're moving from a country of origin, meaning that if you're moving between Caribbean countries, that's an example of intra-regional migration. If you're in like North America and you're moving between North American countries, that's intra-regional migration. So that's what that means there. So yes, yes, people, we're moving at a good pace. Most Caribbean countries remain producers of primary products mainly because of what is the reason here? They lack the means to process the resources. Caribbean countries don't really have a means of actually processing the resources. So they would usually have to export it to these more developed countries, and these developed countries would use the products of Caribbean economies to actually boost their own economies. We see that in nuclear fields. So which of the following is the most appropriate order of task for a job seeker? So let us look at this one now. So what's the fourth step that they should do here? So collect information about the available jobs, and then you need assess qualifications and experience. So this one here would be second. This would be second. This would be first, and this would be third. So it would be I, and I. So yes, the concept of push and pull are in association with the migration of people. Push, we have something called push factors, and we have something called pull factors. Push factors are things that might make you want to leave an economy, such as bad facilitation, working conditions are bad, low salaries, etc., etc. Pull factors are things like good salaries, good work levels, and stuff like that. You're getting paid good, you're getting paid a lot of money, and stuff like that. Anyways, guys, I really do thank you for staying in tune, regardless of what is going on, regardless of me being absent for a little while. I did drop to sleep because I was a bit tired. Hopefully, you guys understand that. I did make over going on to 80 videos for this week for since this month started, and it was a lot of effort. So we're for the same. Which of the following may result if many people do what the young man in the picture is doing. No work, low wages. I work and live better in town. Um, Rapid rate of growth of cities. What will happen? So asking what will happen if what we're doing, or what will happen if majority of these people here go to the city, or what would happen if people move from rural areas to the urban areas. So rapid rate of population, rapid growth of cities, brain drain experienced by many developed countries. That will not happen because they're moving to the country, so they cannot experience brain drain. And inadequate housing, educational and health facilities in urban areas. Yes, that will. So the answer in this here is I, and I is B. So we're right with that. Which of the following CARICOM groups is made up of prime ministers, executive presidents, or chief ministers? The answer would be this: of heads of government conference, common market council, secretariat, standing committee of ministers. All of these are out. And the answer that we have here is C. We are at 49. Which of the following is the most important aim of the trade and arrangements within CARICOM to promote economical development in the region? Because that's the main that's the main function of CARICOM, because they really fight for the removal of taxes on goods between CARICOM countries. The reason why they do that, because they want CARICOM countries to have accessibility to the global market, to have access, to generally have more accessibility to the markets. So that's why they created CARICOM. CARICOM is created for intra-regional development between Caribbean countries. So yes, which had fallen shows the progression of Caribbean integration movements. So yes, we have the Federation, CARIFET, and then CARICOM. The Federation actually failed because of the portion of the country that was mainly funding the progression of Caribbean integration movement was actually Jamaica in the early 1800s, or things no, not 800, around 1900s. I think it was Jamaica and on Trinidad and Tobago. These two countries, because of their development, and they were way ahead of other countries like Guyana and stuff like that. And the federation was the force. It failed because the other economies were not paying their share, and that led to another. So Jamaica said, we don't want to fund everything. It's bad for our economy, and just closed off. And then Carifeta was formed. And after Carifeta, we are now with CARICOM. In a CARICOM country, if a CARICOM country imposes restriction on CARICOM products, which of the following provision is being violated? Liberalization of trade, which is the removal of trade barriers. If you're actually doing trade, you're actually violating the Fourth Amendment of what CARICOM actually is. Between 1958 and 1962, Caribbean governments made an attempt to unify region politically by, I believe this one is very easy, forming a federation. Because remember that I said before, that's around the 1900s. The CARICOM was formed later in the 1990s. 1990s. So yes. Which of the following organizations is most likely to be the force respond in the event of a natural, in the case or the event of a disaster in the region? UWI, that's the University of West Indies. The CDB, that's the Commercial Development Bank, CARDI, and CDEMA. So the answer between these two. The only answer for this case is the CDEMA. I can't remember exactly what CARDI does, but CARDI I know for a fact is not in relation to in the case of disaster in a region. So yes, that's it for the 53. That must move on to 44. Which of following is based on exploiting non-renewable natural resources? So we're at 54, and the answer for this is bauxite mining. Um, which of following is based on exploiting non-renewable resources? Bauxite, after you use up bauxite done. You cannot really use bauxite after it has been mined. So That's a non-renewable resource. Fishing, lumbering, hydrochloric power, all of these are basically renewable because you could grow back trees. You could basically harvest back fish because they could reproduce. And hydrochloric power, as we know, is basically using the water or the waterways to generate electricity and power. And water, as we know, is indefinite. It will not finish anytime soon. It will renew itself through the process of through the water cycle. So we're at that. The natural increase in population for country X in 2022 was 1,500. So number of immigrants, I'll do the calculations in later. I'll probably do it now, but um, the answer for this is the 1,500. But for now, I'll not do the working. I'll not do the I will put the working for it in the comments below. But I'm a bit tired right now, so I'll tell you, I'm just trying to finish out the document right now. But I will make another video actually doing some questions as related to this here at least before the night's over. I'm gonna take my rest and then I will make the video. I will make a compilation of CSEC paper ones from the year 2000 to 2025, and then I'll post that and I will work that in that video. But for now, we'll work up to here. Renewable resources may provide energy in Caribbean for many years to come. One example of a renewable physical resource is petroleum. Petroleum, it's right there. A physical renewable physical resource is petroleum. So we're at 57. Which of the following problems are usually associated with rapid urban growth in developing countries? So unemployment is one. Unemployment right off the bat. Shortage of housing. So which of the following problems are usually associated with rapid urban growth in developing countries? So we're at B57. I unemployment. You have shortage of housing, shortage of motor vehicles. So the answer for this is actually I. If you guys have anything different for 57, because I'm looking at the initial answer sheet here and I'm just fact checking myself while I'm answering. And I have my reasons, but I believe it's actually I. A lot of you guys, at least from what I've seen from other YouTubers, they put E, I. Unemployment and shortage of housing. Wait, let me just check back. Yes, it's most likely that because shortage of motor vehicles that would just be impossible. I don't see that as a train of thought. So it's I. So I'll agree with them for now. Which of the following actions may hinder integration in CARICOM? The answer for this is restriction on intra-regional trade, which is basically going against the trade liberalization policies. All right, the last question now. Which of the following would play an important part in the government's effort to increase consumption of locally produced food? Increase subsidies to farmers, yes. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video till the end. Thanks, thanks for watching, everyone. And sorry for the long break. Um, so sorry for that long break, everyone. That was my error. I was just so tired. Anyways, I'm going out here. See you guys in the next video. I will post another video